gang, and welcome to the State of the Gaming Gang, where I will spend the next 90 minutes talking about everything that's been going on around the gaming gang and the Daily Dope, just nonstop. Oh, come on. I wouldn't do that to you. Absolutely not. But I will say the Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Jeff McAleer once again, and I am the host of the Daily Dope, presented this week by Adventure a Week Games. I also happen to be the Grand Poobah of the GamingGang.com. So welcome aboard. Thanks for joining me once again. Today is Tuesday, January 30th, and I've got quite a bit cooking today, because I've got a cornucopia, of course it's a small cornucopia, of news items that I'm going to talk about. And then I am going to do an unboxing of Tokyo Ghoul, the card game from Shinobi 7 and Ninja Division. It is based on the hit manga and anime, of which I am not familiar with at all. So that'll be fun. And, usual, we'll kind of kick back and relax and talk a little bit about tabletop gaming and some other geek culture news as well. So I do want to point out there is chat available, although you don't see it on screen, and chat is available through Twitch and YouTube. So before I jump into the news, I wanted to mention yesterday was another oddball day doing the show. And once again, the sound was out of sync, and I tested it before I started the stream. Everything looked good. And then, of course, by the time the rendering was done on YouTube, it was out of sync by about a half a second. I wish I knew what was going on, and it seems like every day is just a new experience as far as keeping the audio in sync. Don't know. Once again, did a quick few minutes of test streams earlier today that were private, rendered the video, everything's in sync. So fingers crossed, I have no clue. But when it's out of sync, it's a complete pain because I have to actually download the video again, and it's just crazy. Yesterday, I didn't even want to go through the whole process of resyncing everything, re-rendering the video, because that would have taken hours. So yesterday's show's only in 720p. Sorry about that. Plus, I do want to mention there was a troll floating around in the Twitch side of the chat yesterday. And I didn't acknowledge it, but they just kept going on and on and on and on. It's kind of throwing me off a little bit. So that was not too much fun as far as that, because it's awfully distracting. Anyway, so what do I got cooking for the rest of the week, you may be wondering? Well, tomorrow is going to be Wargame Wednesday, and it's going to be a pretty jam-packed show tomorrow. Today's probably going to be a little bit shorter than usual, maybe clock in about an hour, but tomorrow's going to be a big show because I received the expansion for Wing Leader from my good friends over at GMT Games. It is Wing Leader Blitz, 1939 to 1942, and the bag is ripped. It's kind of falling out. Slipping out here. Just got this the other day in the mail, so we're going to take a peek at that tomorrow. I am also going to announce a giveaway that will be of interest to the wargamers out there. So I'm going to take a look at this. I'd say unbox it, but it's not in a box, so it's not an unboxing. And I am going to do a review of the awesome This War of Mine from 11-Bit Studios, Awaken Realms, as well as Ares Games. I have been looking forward to getting a review of this out. It's an amazing game. I will tell you that right now. I know some of the wargamers out there will be thinking, geez, Jeff, it's not really a war game? You're going to put that on War Game Wednesday? Trust me, I think a lot of wargamers out there will really dig this War of Mine. Plus, they'll have a better understanding of really the subject matter of the board game than probably a lot of casual gamers out there would. So that's coming up tomorrow. Then on Thursday, I will be reviewing The Rise of the Drow from Adventure a Week Games, and give you a hint, it's another excellent product from AW Games. Then on Friday, I am going to unbox Dance of the Fireflies from Backspindle Games and Ninja Division. And I have to say, let me kind of hold this up there. The artwork looks really, really impressive. Really like this. And I've heard some good stuff about this kind of through the grapevine. I hear it's a nice, kind of relaxing set collection game. And that will fit in very nicely with Family Fun Friday. So that's what I've got cooking for the rest of the week. February 1st, I'm going to announce some giveaways. I am going to pop on Twitter later on tonight, and I'm going to run a bit of a poll because I'm sort of curious, because I'll be very honest, I get a lot of stuff to review, and I am not one of these people who needs to have 1,000 games in my collection that's just taking up this huge area, right? And there are a lot of games out there that, while they're good games, they're probably not going to get the kind of love and replay that I would like to see these titles get. It's just because, my gaming gang is, a fairly eclectic bunch, but there are certain games that I know that we're going to get to the table after the review is done, and then there's others that I can tell that the players are just kind of like, yeah, well, we're helping Jeff out, we're playing this so we can get a review. So I'm thinking what I might start doing is doing some giveaways for stuff that I do reviews on that just simply will not get the kind of table time, I guess I would say, that I think the title deserves, just simply because of the folks that I game with. So I'm going to see if people would be interested in that, because, I don't know. I mean, some folks I would think would be, oh, geez, it's a used game. Oh, I don't know if I want that. And then other people will probably be like, wow, it's a gently used, well cared for game. Sure, I'll take that as a giveaway. Come on, bring it on, Jeff. I don't know. So I'll float a poll out a little later on tonight. If you happen to follow the Gaming Gang on Twitter, you can vote. Anyway, I do have some news. I've got some gaming news. I've got some comic book news. I've got some movie news. So let's dive into it, because fans of Eurogames are going to want to take note that there's an interesting looking Gen Con release that's from Eggertspiel. I believe that's how you pronounce the company. They happen to be a division of Plan B Games, and this title is going to tackle the Age of Discovery in Portugal. Yes, that's right, because Coimbra, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, is a social influence game set in the 15th century. And I have the dope. In the 15th and 16th century, Portugal is thriving under its leading role during the Age of Discovery. Nestled in the heart of Portugal, the city of Coimbra serves as a cultural center of the country. As the head of one of Coimbra's oldest houses, you seek to earn prestige by deepening relationships with nearby monasteries or funding expeditions of the era. To reach this goal, you must vie for the favors of the city's most influential citizens, even if you must offer a bit of coin or some protective detail. Coimbra introduces an innovative new dice mechanism. I almost said mechanism. Blah, dummy. In which the dice players draft each round are used in multiple different ways and have an impact on many aspects of the decision making. While there are many paths to victory, Players should always seek to optimize their opportunities with every roll of the dice. Combined with ever-changing synergies of the citizens, expeditions, and monasteries, no two games of Coimbra will ever be the same. Of course, the release date is a bit out there because we're talking Gen Con, so that's August. It's early August this year. So I don't have any MSRP info just yet, but I can tell you Coimbra is for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, and will play in about 60 to 90 minutes. I am a pretty big history buff, and I play a good amount of Europa Universalis. I think that's how you pronounce it. The 4th edition of that game. And I always find it's interesting that a lot of people don't realize that Portugal did a lot of Portuguese sailors and explorers mapped out a lot of the world, and people always assume, oh, well, you know, it's Columbus, it's Captain Cook. The Portuguese, they were pretty big back in the day. So this is one that I would be curious to take a look at because it's not, traders and things like that. You're actually trying to influence people in the city of Coimbra. So that might be something to keep an eye out for. Anyway, moving right along, I mentioned yesterday that Portal Games has been revealing much of its 2018 line, and I have to say there's a title that is going to be on a lot of people's radars, and it is Monolith Arena. And I've got a little bit of dope. Wage war against opponents on a hexagonal board. Prepare your armies to face off on the battlefield and surprise your enemy with your choice of special abilities. Monolith Arena is a fantasy battleground board game built around the base engine of Hiroshima Hex, which is also from designer, I believe it's Mikel Oratz. Sorry if I got the name wrong. The game includes 5 factions, each with unique abilities and units. Each player also has a monolith that serves as their headquarters, and each player seeds their monolith with 3 tokens that provide special abilities. When an opponent damages your monolith, you remove the top layer to expose the first token, gaining its special ability. So being attacked can actually make you stronger, albeit while still moving you toward defeat. The game includes different factions, all of which have an arsenal of unique abilities and units at their disposal. Each player also has that monolith, which serves as the faction headquarters. It's an object of great hidden power that the player can invoke during the game to surprise his or her enemy. Monolith Arena is a fast-paced, hex-based tactical board game, say that 5 times fast, that offers much replayability. Delve deep into the fantasy battlegrounds and face off with up to 3 enemies at once. Unfortunately, the release of Monolith Arena is quite a ways off, as it's not going to hit until Eggertspiel. So we're talking October. But the game is for 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, and will play in about 45 to 60 minutes. And don't worry, when more info about Monolith Arena pops up, I will be sure to share it with you. Because I have to say, this is going to be a big one, folks, because Hiroshima Hex is a very, very popular game. It's got quite a following. I've never played it. I know. I played the, in fact, I played the Kickstarter of, wasn't it 51st State is the card game? And it was a preview, a Kickstarter preview that I had been sent by Portal Games. And it was pretty cool. And unfortunately, I've never seen anything from Portal Games again. So I guess they didn't like what I had to say. I don't know. I liked it, so I can't tell you. That was years ago. I might even be wrong as far as the name of the game, but I thought it was called 51st State. Anyway, moving right along, I've got some news about a new game design from my very, very good buddy, Herman Lettman, and it is available right now from Tiny Battle Publishing. That's right, get ready for some solitaire chaos. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of solitaire chaos as Attack of the 50-Foot Colossi is now available. And I've got the dope. Mayday, mayday, mayday! If anyone can hear my voice, there's been a major underground explosion in the mine here on Graviton Prime. A group of colossal stone creatures tunneled up from deep beneath the surface and are wreaking havoc. The few remaining miners are panicking, and we have no weapons that can damage these creatures. If anyone is out there, please, we need your help. From Colby Manzo, Mine Boss. Ooh, pretty good setup so far, right? Welcome back to the world beyond, the world of Graviton Prime, to be exact. Miners on this volatile remote planet have sent a distress call out into space in the hopes that someone, anyone, would hear their plea before it was too late. You aren't just anyone. You are the battle-hardened 124th Galactic Marine Raider Battalion, and you were supposed to be enjoying some R&R after crushing your last battle. Never fully at rest, you were assigned the supposedly breezy mission of patrolling a peaceful region of space until your comm system buzzed to life with that cry for help. From the fabulous minds of Herman Lettman and Colby Duerk? D-U-E-R-K. Sorry, Colby. Sorry. Attack of the 50-Foot Colossi is the much-awaited follow-up to Invaders from Dimension X and Space Vermin from Beyond. Set in the same universe, Colossi provides players with ore carriers full of solo fun and excitement. Right now, you can score some serious solitaire action with Attack of the 50-Foot Colossi for a sale price of $26. Okay, so I have to say I have played just about every Herman Lettman design. There are a few out there that I have not had an opportunity to play, and it's pretty much because the companies don't do review copies, which is fine. Hey, that's okay. I have not had a chance to play Space Vermin from Beyond, though. Ooh. Mark, help me out with this, buddy. Mark Walker. But I want to say I enjoyed the hell out of Invaders from Dimension X. Plus, it's from my buddy Herman Lettman. So you know taking on these colossi will be a blast. So while I'm talking about Tiny Battle Publishing, let me also mention another design from Herman that may have flown under your radar a little bit, and it's Dead Reckoning. And the reason why I mention it, it is a lot of fun. It is a zombie game, and yes, I know you can't swing around a severed arm these days without hitting some zombie game. But the interesting twist to this is it's more, I don't want to say strategic. Well, yeah, I guess it is a little bit more strategic, where it's groups of humans and like the police and National Guard and things like that fighting against these masses of zombies. So it's not just individual characters, individual zombies. And it is card driven. It is a whole lot of fun. You owe it to yourself if you enjoy zombie games. And this is one where it's a 2-player game and the zombies actually have an opportunity to win the game. So that's a bonus, because a lot of times some of these games, zombies don't really have much of a fighting chance of pulling off a victory. So yes, head on over to tinybattlepublishing.com. Be sure to check out Attack of the 50-Foot Colossi, as well as Invaders from Dimension X, and one of my personal favorites, Dead Reckoning. Anyway, that is it for some of the gaming news, but I did want to discuss something in comic book news that I know is on the horizon, and I am a huge fan of Time for a Sip, gang. I'm a huge fan of Jeff It's my own name, and I can't even pronounce that correctly. Jeez. Of Jeff Smith and his Bone Saga. And I have been a fan for a long, long time. So I am very pleased to report that an all-new young reader book is coming from Jeff Smith and Scholastic Publishing. It's part of their, I want to say, their graphics imprint. And it is, as I mentioned, aimed at young readers, and it arrives this summer. That's right, Smiley's Dream Book is coming. And here's a real quick dope about it. Scholastic Books graphics imprint, like I thought, will release Jeff Smith's Smiley's Dream Book, a preschool graphic novel set in the world of his award-winning Bone series, and it's coming July 31st. On a beautiful sunny day, happy-go-lucky Smiley Bone is walking through the woods when he begins to count some friendly birds. The birds sing and climb so high that Smiley must find a fantastical way to keep up with them. With lively drawings and expressive word balloons, Jeff Smith has created a one-of-a-kind picture book that will delight the youngest readers. This 40-page hardcover will carry an MSRP of $17.99 when it arrives this summer. I have to say, if you are even remotely interested in comic books, you don't have to be a big, serious comic reader. I always highly recommend the Bone series from Jeff Smith, and it's available in various omnibuses, and it's big. I mean, this saga went on for a few years, and it begins as kind of a very lighthearted, fun kind of, and it's got, as you can tell, unfortunately, I only have the one image of the book that I can share. It's got very lively artwork and very reminiscent of early Disney. And the story becomes just this epic, almost Tolkien-esque quest. And it's an amazing book. It has sold almost 7.5 million copies. That's how popular this is. And it has won over 40 awards, including 10 Eisners and 11 Harvey Awards. So, of course, Smiley's Dream Book is aimed at preschoolers, younger readers. But for everyone else, if you have never read Jeff Smith's Bone, by all means, you've got to check it out. And for it being in a pretty big omnibus, it's priced pretty nicely. It's pretty friendly as far as the wallet. Anyway, my final news piece is from Marvel Studios, because earlier this morning, the first full-length trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp dropped. And I have to say, it looks like it's going to be loads and loads of fun. So as I mentioned, the trailer just came out, so what say you we take a peek?
I just have one question. When Cap needed help, if I'd asked you, would you have come?
I guess we'll never know. But if you had, you'd have never been caught.
I do some dumb things, and the people I love the most, they pay the price.
Thanks to you, we had to run. We're still running.
Let's go.
Maybe you just need someone watching your back. Like a partner.
Hold on. You gave her wings and blasters. So I take it you didn't have that tech available for me? No, I did.
What say you, gang? Does that look really cool? It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I have to say, if you were a bad guy, if you were a criminal, how would you like to have to go to like Rikers Island and explain to people that you were taken down by a giant Hello Kitty Pez dispenser? I don't think that would go over too well. Anyway, Ant-Man and the Wasp stars Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly alongside Michael Pena, Walton Goggins, who I'm a huge fan of. I love almost everything he's in. And even though I didn't like The Hateful Eight, I thought he was excellent in it. It also stars Michelle Pfeiffer, Lawrence Fishburne, and Michael Douglas, and it arrives in theaters this July 6th. So that is one to keep an eye on, because 2018 is going to be a huge year for Marvel Studios. You figure we've got Black Panther premiering just around the corner. Early reviews are coming in for that. Everybody's saying it is excellent. Then, of course, we've got Ant-Man and the Wasp. And then Infinity War. Ooh, yeah. So I did want to mention something, since we're talking about Marvel here. And Black Panther is going to hit very, very soon. And as I mentioned, the earlier reviews are coming in, and everybody is saying this is phenomenal. And I have to say, I'm running across some people online who I just think are being ridiculous. It's, I'm not going to go see it because everybody in it is black. And I've seen other people talking about, well, how come there aren't any white people living in Wakanda? And it's just, I sit here and I wonder, and I just kind of think, are these like a lot of the people who are part of our hobbies? Because it's not pleasant. I don't get it. It's sort of like, okay, no one is coming to your home and forcing you to go see the Black Panther if you don't want to see it. So why get worked up about it? It just makes absolutely no sense. And it's sort of like, the Black Panther's been around since the 1960s, people. Give me a break. Get over it. I'm personally really looking forward to the movie. And like I said, everybody's saying that it is excellent. So anyway, I just, sometimes I pop onto Twitter and stuff, and I see people that I follow who, if they retweet stuff like this, I quickly unfollow, because I don't need that crap. It's just whining and complaining, and it's like, okay, just, relax. It's a movie, people. You don't own this property. Why do you get worked up about this stuff? Just makes absolutely no sense. Anywho, now before I move on to the Tokyo Ghoul, the card game unboxing, I do want to take some time out to talk about this week's sponsor, Adventure a Week Games. Now, you may have noticed that 2 weeks ago, I did a review for Snow White, which is available both for Dungeons & Dragons, although it is not for 5th edition yet. That might be in the pipeline, as well as Pathfinder. And I said during the review, and I'm going to say it again, this is a phenomenal RPG product. I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. It is that good. And of course, I stayed spoiler-free in my review, so I'm not going to give anything really away. But if you are a fan of old fairy tales, old school fairy tales, this is certainly something to pick up, because just the way that many of these classic stories are incorporated in different ways into Snow White is really phenomenal. I was blown away. I was not familiar with Adventure a Week games prior to getting a few review copies of stuff. And I am super, super impressed. In fact, I am going to have a review of The Rise of the Drow on Thursday's show. And once again, I'm going to talk about how really, really good this AAW Games stuff is. So I do want to mention right now, you can go and save 50% on all PDFs from Adventure a Week over at Drive-Thru RPG. You don't want to miss out. This sale is not going to last too much longer, so you can run over there and you can score fantastic supplements like Snow White and Rise of the Drow for 50% off. And if you're looking to get a print edition, you can save 10% off of those if you would like. So yes, by all means, definitely head on over to adventureaweek.com. I am going to have a little bit of news about the Rise of the Drow when I do my review on Thursday. I don't think a lot of gamers out there are going to be aware of. Something that's on the horizon that Jonathan over at Adventure a Week had told me about. I'll have a little dope on that. So yes, by all means, go and visit adventureaweek.com. And they've got loads and loads of good stuff for 5th edition D&D, although, like I said, Snow White hasn't been ported over to that yet. But come on, if you're an experienced DM, you could port stuff over fairly easily. Lots of good stuff for Pathfinder, Starfinder, you name it. Go check it out. All right, so as I had mentioned earlier in the show, I'm going to take a look at Tokyo Ghoul, the card game. So let's pop on over to the other camera here. And I will grab a sip. And yes, if you are not a constant viewer of the Daily Dope, I am wearing glasses today. So once again, I should apologize for a little bit of the glare that's popping up from the various screens that are pointing at me and lights and things like that. But I am kind of taking a break just for this week from my contacts, just to kind of give my eyes a vacation. So with Tokyo Ghoul, the card game, it is based, as I mentioned previously, on the hit manga and anime Tokyo Ghoul, of which I know very, very little about. And I am going to point out that, from my understanding, this is a horror manga, horror anime. So I do not know what we are going to see as far as artwork on these cards. It could turn out to be fairly disturbing stuff. Now, the card game itself is for ages 10 and up. So I'm hoping that means that I don't have to warn more sensitive, younger or more sensitive gamers about what we might see with this game. Anyway, it is for 2 to 4 players. It is from Shinobi 7, as well as Ninja Division and Funimation. And I will mention that Shinobi 7 just recently went independent from Ninja Division. So I think, now I can't say for sure, but I do think that this Ninja Division edition is only going to be available through March. And this did come out, I believe, in December. So just so you know, this edition here is probably not going to be on sale for a whole lot longer. My assumption would be Shinobi 7 is going to release their own edition. And I just recently got some info about a new game title coming from them too, which I'll talk about tomorrow on tomorrow's news. Okay, so as far as what I know about the series, the manga and anime, is that ghouls exist. They live under cities around the world, and they are in clans or gangs, and they all fight amongst each other for power. I believe that is kind of the overall premise of the comic as well as the show. So let's see what we've got on back. It says, yep, there we go. Ghouls live among us, secretly feasting on human flesh while waging a shadow war in the streets of Tokyo. Yes, that really does sound like for ages 10 and up, right? In Tokyo Ghoul, the card game, you must struggle against your ghoulish opponents in a battle for power and survival. Can you become the top ghoul in a deadly turf war as you recruit allies, unleash enemies, and deviously plan your next move against your rivals? Based on Tokyo Ghoul, the hit anime and manga sensation, Tokyo Ghoul, the card game, allows you to build a deck of your favorite ghouls in a strategic game of pitched battles where only the strongest survive. Darwinism at its finest. So let's open this on up. See what we've got. I am a fan of deck building games. Some pull them off extremely well, some titles not so much, but I do enjoy good deck builders. Let's see what we've got here. And the game is designed by Ryan Miller. So we've got some tokens. So we've got 531. Okay, so what do you think? Flip it over, we're going to see 520? Oh no, 135. Okay, well, I guess I was wrong. Okay, so we've got these counters. And then we've got the rule book. Got an introduction. The goal of the game is to become the most powerful ghoul in Tokyo. Giving us a breakdown of the cards. Card cost, influence, strength, the name on the card, the ability, and ward. The ward deck the card belongs to. Okay, so it talks about allies. Strategy cards. Yes, I know it's strategy. It's a joke. It's an inside joke. I always say strategy. Once again, cost, name, ability, ward. Enemy cards. Oh, look. Oh, hey, Michael Myers. How are you today? Enemies. Ward cards. Location cards. Setting up the game. And playing the game. So in the player turn, we see there's an ally phase, influence phase, action phase, enemy phase, draw phase. And it's going to explain each of the phases. The influence phase. Here we had the ally phase. The action phase. Attacking an opponent's ally. Being wounded, taking over locations. That's the enemy phase, the draw phase, and ending the game. So all in all, and then we've got a reference on the back, we have 14 pages of rules, but really lots and lots of illustrations throughout, so it's not looking like a whole lot of mental heavy lifting involved. But of course, when you're looking at a deck building game, a lot of times you're looking at the cards themselves. The cards will have a lot of different interactions and so on and so forth. So once again, I do want to mention that there is chat. So we've got chat if anybody's sitting there watching live, which, I know most people usually catch the show a little bit later. Let me move this over so we get it's a little better centered here. I know most people catch the Daily Dope later on Twitch or YouTube. But if you are watching live and there's anything you want me to take a closer look at, by all means, chime in on chat. All right, so let's see what we've got. So it looks like we may have some allies here, or it may just be a mix. Yeah, because there's location cards there. Quite a few cards in this. Okay, so let's take a peek here. So on one hand, I think to myself, okay, I don't really know anything about Tokyo Ghoul. And, I watch anime. One of these days, maybe I'll talk about my all-time favorite anime. And no, it's not Robotech, which I was a big fan as a kid growing up, because it was sort of like, wow, this is so different than the cartoons we've got now. I mean, people were getting killed. There was a war going on. Anyway, but no, my favorite anime of all time is much more recent than that. And yes, I know Robotech isn't really the anime's name. It is a combination of 3 separate series. I do know that. So, all right, so we've got the ally card. Oh. Okay, so this is location? Yeah, I think this is a location card. So we've got this. Yeah, so it's a ward of Tokyo. So it's an area of Tokyo. There's a reference card. Looks as if this reference card is kind of explaining specific maybe abilities or effects on these cards. And we got that. Another one, a couple of these again. Well, the artwork looks pretty nice in looks pretty good in the anime. Huh. Now the way this is kind of correlated here makes me wonder, because here's another reference card. And then we've got the wards. Now remember, it was talking about in the instructions, in the rule book, it was talking about what ward deck. So it's possible maybe some of these cards actually belong to these wards. Taking a guess, that might be how this is set up. So of course I'm separating things out here like a dope. So it is possible that these cards are available in these wards. Do not know. I am just opening up the game. So all of this is as new to me as it is to you. Yeah, there's another reference card. And these reference cards are all identical. So the 20th ward. See, it should be Chicago. Then you have the aldermen all fighting it out. Okay, so here's some different cards. I think we saw that one before too, though. Alrighty. And of course, because it is a deck building game, we're going to see duplicates. There's another ward here. It's different. Quite a few wards, that's for sure. I wonder if you... Oh, look, the Ghoul restaurant. There you go. All right. What's on the menu? I think you already know. We don't need to discuss that. I'm taking a guess. Once I'm done with this deck, I'm going to go open the rules again just to take a look. As far as where it's talking about setting the game up. So I wonder if you set up the different wards. Okay, talking about the cards. Yeah, see, there we go. Showing the ward decks right there. Starting hands, ally decks. And victory point tokens. That's what those counters are. I'm sorry, tokens are. They're VPs. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. Looks like these are more cards from the wards, because they seem to have the like yellow backing, yellowish orange backing, orangish yellow, kind of a fiery backing, I guess we'll say. And again, maybe not. So you got a starting ally, strategy. Another ally? Oh. But I was going to say, not knowing a whole lot about either the anime or the manga, I'm sort of curious to play the game to see if you have to be well-versed in either the manga or the series to enjoy the game. Because a lot of times when you've got games based on licensed properties, if you don't really know anything about that property, you're kind of out of luck. I guess if you think about it, the premise of, well, you're a ghoul trying to become top ghoul. I'm sure you've got a ghoul friend. Yeah, that was pretty lame. I would think that you probably don't necessarily have to be all that well versed in the series. But of course, if you are, I'm sure you'll sit there and go, oh, cool! There's my favorite character! They're in it! Kind of funny. It's sort of like, well, look at all that empty real estate there. So we see that there are quite a few duplicates, and then we'll see stuff that's these are different. No, that one, that's one of the starting. Okay. So I have to wonder if maybe when these were put together before they were sealed, maybe they're already in the starting decks. Don't know. Aha. Well, at least luckily we have not run across anything. I mean, that's kind of spooky. Okay, but I don't know. Maybe if you're 10 years old, that would freak you out a bit, but this whole premise of the game would be, or even the series too, would be a little freaky, right? They're ghouls, they feast on humans. Of course, I say it all the time, you know what's best for your own children. I mean, I know folks out there with 10, 12-year-old kids who watch The Walking Dead with them all the time. And then I know other parents who won't allow their 16-year-old to watch Game of Thrones. So, you know what's appropriate for your family, what your kids can handle. Okay. Well, so got that guy again. Thing, whatever. Suicide mission, no! Alright, looks like the rest of those are all duplicates there. So put those back in. So far we had 3 reference cards. I thought the game is for 2 to 4 players. Shouldn't there be another reference card floating around? Maybe I missed it. Backing is all, well, except for the wards, the backing on the cards looks like it's the same for all of these. Let's flip these over, take a look. Yep. Okay, so what we got here? It's another, enemies. Another enemy, ally. It's a different one. I don't believe we saw that one before. Ah, yes. My strategy is to consume food. There we go. As people can tell, that's a strategy I stick to quite a bit. That's right. I enjoy my grub. Strategy eliminate. Bin Brothers. Okay. Just kind of flip it on through. Hey, there's Michael Myers again. Hey, wrong show, man. We're from film. No enemy there. Strategy ambush. Enemy phase. Banish one of your allies. If you have Yamori in play, banish this card. He's one of the starting allies there. Food. One of your allies gets a +3 strength until the end of the turn. Enemy phase. Banish 2 random cards from your hand. Almost appears that I don't know, maybe the enemies, well, I'm sure the enemies have to deal some sort of damage to you, because there was something in the rules about being wounded. But it appears that the longer that these enemies stay out on the table, they're probably going to have detrimental effects for all the players. Don't know. Another ally there. Another ally. Big Madam. Okay. All right. Huh. Interesting strategy from the shadows. Put an ally in your discard pile. Oh, I'm sorry. Put an ally. Okay, so put an ally in your discard pile into play. I don't know, it could have been phrased a little better than that. She said, take an ally from your discard pile. Okay, just my opinion. Now I'm going to have to check this this anime out. Damn it. Just more stuff that I have to watch. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Let's see. We got anything else that kind of jumps out here? Boy, there's a whole lot of these. That's different. That looks like that is a major ally. I believe the cost is up in the top left circle there. 7. Mm-hmm. Whoa, what is that? 13? This guy again. Strategy, join us. Extreme Devour for Ito. Whenever this attacks, banish any number of allies from your ally discard pile. This ally gains strength equal to the total of all allies banished this way until the end of the turn. Wow. Okay. So there we go. So we've got all the cards. I did not run across another reference card, but then again, it might be mixed in here still. Yep, there we go. There's the 4th one. I was going to say, it's for 4 players. Can't just have 3. All right, so we've got all the various cards. The reference cards there. We've got the victory point tokens. And the 14 pages of rules plus the reference on the back. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is what we find in Tokyo Ghoul when we take everything outside the box. Nice. I am going to have to, I'm going to check out the anime. It might be on Netflix. I'm sure it's someplace. I'm sure it's someplace floating around online. I can check it out. Anyway, so Tokyo Ghoul, the card game, is available right now. As I mentioned before, it's for ages 10 and up. It plays in, I believe, 30 to 60 minutes, and it is for 2 to 4 players. It does carry an MSRP of $34.95. I have seen it online, since I don't have any specific relationship with an online retailer. I'm not going to say who, but I've seen it as low as $24.95, so that is a pretty big savings there. Anyways, stay tuned, because I will have a review of Tokyo Ghoul, the card game, next week. I should be able to get this out in front of the rest of the gang this coming weekend. So yeah, look for a review next week. Looks interesting. Like I said, I dig deck building games. And yeah, there's just something about even most of the friends of Cameron's who make up part of the gang had not played any sort of deck building game. Although Cameron's friend Hunter had played the Aliens legendary game from Upper Deck, and that's my favorite legendary game. And he dug it a lot, but his other friends had never played anything with any kind of deck building mechanic. And then I busted out Clank, a deck building adventure, and they just thought that was the bomb. They love that game. In fact, sometimes I have to make sure I don't have it in the car because they want to play that all the time. So anyway, I'm sure we will bust that out and check that out. Anyway, that is it for today. Like I said, a little shorter show, ran just under an hour, but I'll make up for it tomorrow, because as I mentioned, it will be a jam-packed show, because I will be reviewing this War of Mine, as well as showing you the Wing Leader Blitz expansion from GMT Games. Anyway, when you're not watching the Daily Dope, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. Come on, you know the drill. Get your game... duh. You know the drill. I don't. It's what happens when you're just talking and talking and talking, and you don't take a moment to take a sip. Anyway, you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. I will be back tomorrow for Wargame Wednesday. And until then, do your best to enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. And thank you very much for watching. As I try to segue out.